This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Your man, Louie T. Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 8 in the National Football League. Free football. Who doesn't love free? Atlanta Falcons at home, over in London, taking on the Detroit Lions, man. Free football. You know, you can sign me up for that any day. So I was up and early, nice and ready for some football action at 9:30 a.m. And I told you, if you weren't at church, if you weren't out handling some business, if you didn't have a hard night the night before and you weren't kind of crashing from that huge night you had on Saturday, look, get up, get you some of this, man. It's free. Don't turn down free. So you know, I was ready. And this was my sole survivor pick of the week, so you know I had a vested interest in this game. So 5-2 Lions playing some outstanding football. Outstanding football this year, even though they've been banged up. I had no idea just how banged up they were coming into this game. You know, all you heard all week was Will Megatron, Megatron play, will he won't, will he play, won't he play? They didn't tell me about the 3 tight ends. I already knew Ebron was down. I already knew Fourier had been down for it. I didn't know Pettigrew was going to be down too. I didn't know Brandon Pettigrew was going to be missing in action in this game. And I wondered why the tight end last week, Jason Thompson or whatever his name was, Thompson for sure, was being intended on a pass that was picked off last week. Why was he even in the game? You know, so now I know why he was in the game. I mean, why they had to reach that far in the bag of tricks at the tight end position. They don't have any tight ends. I mean, this team is walking around. They sent C.J. Wilson home. I don't know what happened there. So you're short on a defensive line. And I'm like, man, this team is shorthanded everywhere you look. And no Reginald Bush. He tried to come back last week. Couldn't do it. So this bye week is much needed. But before you get to the bye, the Atlanta Falcons sitting at 2-5 are standing in your way. So if you're the Detroit Lions, look, I know the Falcons are struggling, but don't sleep on a desperate team. Take care of business. I know you got limited options out there at the skill positions to get it done. Find a way to get it. That's what the good teams do. They find a way to get it done. So let's jump into this one, as this was my sole survivor pick of the week. 10 plays, 80 yards, touchdown mark for the Falcons to start the game as Matt Ryan was 5 of 6 on the drive, including a 7-yard touchdown to Devontae Freeman on a nice one-hand grab by Freeman. Wow, okay, that's a heck of a way to start the game if you are the Atlanta Falcons. It's 7-0, Falcons on top. And the key for the Falcons, I've said this many a times, got to protect Matt Ryan. If you can protect Matt Ryan, they can push the football down the field. They can do some things. The running game was also pretty solid early on in this game, so it gave them a two-way attack where they could hand it off out of the backfield, or they could turn around and throw the football. And so they had it going early on that the Falcons is 7-0, Falcons on top. And the Lions struggled offensively in this game early on, and the Falcons, meanwhile, they were the direct opposite. They were getting it done offensively in this game. Falcons continue to convert on third down. They were perfect on the first possession. As you can see, they got into the end zone on third downs. They were perfect on their second possession on third downs as they move it down the field. Darius Slay commits a PI in the end zone, puts the football down at the 1-yard line. Very next play, play action fake, wide open bear pass go in the back of the end zone. It's 14-0. Atlanta Falcons. Woohoo! Falcons, they're here. Woohoo! Hey, Lions, wake up. You got to get, I know it's early. I know it's early. I got up to watch it, so you should be able to get up and play. Wake up, it's 14-0, man. Don't let this golden opportunity to go to 6-2 slip through your fingers right before this bye. Look, you'll get everybody back after the bye week. You just got to get through this game, man. Wake up. Wake up. So, it's 14-0. That's the end of the first quarter score, man. Falcons are here to play football, and if you're not going to come out with your best effort, the Falcons don't have a problem taking this one and running back to ATL with it, man. Wake up. So, the walking wounded continue to fall as Nick Fairley goes down. Him and Ndamukong Suh had a meeting of the minds at the quarterback. Suh runs into Fairley as he's on the ground in an awkward position. The knee bends back. That left knee was not in a good spot when him and Ndamukong Suh collided. He went backwards. The knee stayed where it was. It didn't look good. Couldn't put a lot of weight on it. I don't expect to hear good news about this. I don't think it's a season-ending injury per se, but I think it's going to be a badly sprained knee at the minimum. Might have even sprained an LCL joint or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind and definitely watch on that, because he's having, by far to me, his best season as a pro. And it's a contract year, so you expected him to play well, and he has thus far. So you really want to see how this injury unfolds later down the line. But that was a huge blow at the time because you're already struggling defensively. You're finding it hard to get off the field on third downs. And here's one of your better defenders getting injured on the field. So tough blow for a team that's already been decimated by injuries coming into this game. So then after that, the Falcons said, okay, now they're going to try to put pressure on us. So now let's screen them to death. So they run a number of screens, wide receiver screen, middle screen, running back screen out of the back, and they were all successful getting the Falcons down the field. And just when the Falcons thought, all right, we got a chance to pull away, they make a monumental mistake. Matt Ryan throws an interception in the end zone. It's returned 103 yards by the ageless veteran, Rasheem Mathis, for a touchdown. Looks like the Lions have gotten the break that they need to get back in this game. Uh-oh. SpaghettiOs. Pass interference on the play. It was definitely a pass interference on Rasheem Mathis. He pushed Julio Jones out of the way. He was grabbing him when the ball was in the air before he even pushed him, and the push was the final straw. That got him the interception, and he ended up taking it back. But Matt Ryan negates the pass interference with a low block on the interception return. So it's no harm, no foul type of play. Let's do it over. It's a do-over. It's a mulligan. Falcons end up going down the field, getting in the end zone on a 1-yard Steven Jackson touchdown. It's 21 love. Where I'm from, when we used to play Madden on the sticks, that's a rule. Game's over. It's over. 21-0. You're done. Okay? But this isn't a video game. This isn't Madden. This is real football. So we still got a whole half of football to play. As a matter of fact, first half's not even over. Lions drive down the field. Stafford looking to get some momentum. Lions get the football first after the half. So you can get something right here before the half. Great. That's what you could kind of use to propel you to maybe come back and win this game in the second half. But as fate would have it, Stafford is picked off by Robert Alford, who has been playing some stellar football the last couple of weeks. 2 interceptions last week against the Ravens. Another interception here. And the intended receiver falls down on the play. I could sit here and let you talk me to death about the field and the bad conditions over in London. Yes, the field is always terrible over there. Both teams had to play on it, so I don't want to hear it. The intended receiver falls down on the play. Alford is the beneficiary of that, picks it off. We go to the half, 21-0 Falcons on top in this game. Falcons have done everything perfectly right. Everything went exactly to plan for the Falcons in the first half. They couldn't have played a better first half. In fact, that might have been their best football of the first half in any game outside of the Tampa Bay game, that massacre on Thursday Night Football. This probably was their best play. And again, that was against a bad team. This is a good Lions team that they're doing this to. So you could argue that this was their best half of football all season long. So they go into the locker room with a lot of confidence. If you're the Falcons, you got to say to yourself, all we got to do is continue doing what we did in the first half for 30 more minutes. We're going home with a W and a much-needed one going into the bye week. If you're the Detroit Lions, you've got to wake up. You're down 21-0. I know you got a lot of injuries. You got to battle through this. This would be a very detrimental loss to your cause if you can't beat a 2-5 Falcons team going into the bye week. And I don't care how many injuries you got to find a way to get this one. So Lions come out of the second half break with a lengthy drive. It stalls out at the 4-yard line, and they have to settle for a 22-yard field goal. Those hurt. You got to get in the end zone, man. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. Hey, there's always the exception to the rule. We'll get to that a little later on, but field goals normally don't win your games. Touchdowns do. And if the Falcons were to hold on to this game and win, you would find that these field goal attempts by the Lions would probably be their undoing in this game. So it's 21-3 at this point. Then after a 3-and-out by the Falcons, the Lions finally get great field position, and they get into the end zone after 2 bad calls on their right tackle. I didn't agree with either one of these calls. It was they had a shank punt by the Falcons punter, Bosher, and he kicks it out of bounds. So the Lions start their possession at the Falcons' 44-yard line. But you get a holding penalty that I thought was an egregious call. The defensive end spins, he slips, he falls down. All the Lions tackle did was help him go to the ground. They call him for a holding, bad call. So it pushes them back to 2nd and 20. Then they call a personal foul penalty on that same right tackle for a peel back block. I mean, it was a terrible call. I mean, Stafford rolls out of the pocket, he peels back, and he gets in front of the guy. It's nothing egregious. Everything looks legal. They call it penalty if it's a bad call. Again, the league's trying to crack down on crack back, peel back blocks, but that was a bad call. I mean, everything there looked good to me, looked legit. And so now it's 2nd and 35, and they're back on their side of things. It was just a bad turn of events for the Lions, but as fate would have it, and this is a bad Falcons defense, and this is what bad teams do. They fight, and I always talk about this, when you blow a big lead, you give up big plays at some point in the game, and here's your prime example of that. It's 3rd and 25, and they allow Golden Tate soft coverage, cover 2, safety over the top. They allow Golden Tate to run free, 53-yard touchdown just like that. It's now 21-10, Falcons only up 11 after dominating the first half. The Falcons are now seeing, and you know, you can look at the faces of the Falcons, you can see, here we go again. Here come the Lions. You can see that look of dejection starting to set in with some of these Falcon players. You're like, hey, the Falcons need to do something, but they could never get it going in the second half. Matt Ryan was being harassed in the second half. He fumbled twice. Luckily enough for the Falcons, they were able to recover both of those fumbles. Jason Jones hit him on a peel back one time, forced a fumble. Also, Ziggy Ansah got him one time. Ball comes out, and Matthews, your left tackle, able to dive on that one. So they were harassing Matt Ryan, which they didn't do in the first half. So no kind of continuity, no kind of fluidity to the Falcons offense in that second half. And so Falcons allowing the Lions to hang around. What I tell you about allowing teams to loiter, man. Don't let nobody hang around. No loitering outside the building, man. Falcons just allowing the Lions to hang around. You know that's trouble. You got a team down. You need to step on their throats. They can't do it, can the Lions? So now we head to the 4th quarter. Lions drive and score on a Theo Riddick touchdown. The 2-point conversion, or excuse me, Matt Ryan with an egregious, this was as bad as it gets. We're still in the 3rd quarter. And he's under pressure. He's going towards his left. He turns back to his right, throws off balance, gets nothing on the throw. He sees Julio Jones. That's all he sees. All he sees is Julio Jones out there, but he doesn't get the ball nearly enough. He doesn't get nearly enough on that football to get it out there to Julio Jones. It's picked off on the play by the Lions, returned all the way down to the 5-yard line. It looks like the Lions are going to cut this thing to 17-21. If they do that, you got to think the Lions are going to steal this game. Instead, the Falcons defense actually shows up here like they did earlier on in this half where they forced the Lions to kick a field goal inside the 5-yard line. They do it again. Force the Lions to have to kick another field goal. It's 21-13. Field goals don't win games. Right now, the Falcons are doing enough defensively to hold on to this lead. We move to the 4th quarter. Lions drive and score on a Theo Riddick touchdown. And it was a beautiful drive by the Lions. They had to have it at that point because they ate up a lot of clock on this drive. Both of their drives in the second half that resulted in points that were drives where they started with the football. That first drive of the first half, or second half, excuse me, and this drive, both were time-consuming drives that ate up a lot of clock. So they had to get in the end zone. This couldn't be a situation where they settled for a field goal. You didn't want to have to score another touchdown after this one. So this was a big one. So they get in the end zone. The 2-point conversion is, however, it's failed, but I thought that this was a bad no call by the officials. I thought it was clearly holding at the least. Could have been called pass interference. I thought that the Falcons defender on the play was all over him, and so they got away with one there. So it's 21-19 now. Falcons clinging to a 2-point lead. We're less than 4 minutes in this game now at this point. And so Falcons get 2 first downs, and it looks like this great clock management, however, by the Lions, first of all, because they used their timeouts the right way after getting a couple of stops on the first 2 plays. They called their timeout leading up to 3rd down. Then huge catch by Harry Douglas, man. It wasn't the best thrown football by Matt Ryan, but it was a gorgeous catch to get the first down, which left the Lions with 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Then they run off a Julio Jones wide receiver screen, and I would have liked to have seen them pull that out on 2nd down, which they did, excuse me. So they did it the right way, because they pulled that out on 2nd down, forcing the Lions to call their timeout after a first down run. Then they pull out the Julio Jones wide receiver screen. Looks like that one is probably going to do it, because the Lions only have 1 timeout left. So they allow them, they have to run 1 more play. Then they burn a timeout, which was, again, great clock management, forcing the Falcons to have to run another play before the 2-minute warning, which would, in effect, act as another timeout, their last of the game for the Lions. So they do that. They end up on a 3rd down situation at the 2-minute warning. And then the big play of the game, I think that really kind of turned the tide in the favor of the Lions at the end. The center Stone, who undrafted rookie free agent, should not be in the game, but again, all these injuries to this Falcons offensive line has decimated them. He's in the game. I thought he actually played well, but this was a huge play. And sometimes we talk about stats all the time in this league, and how, you know, you can look at numbers and see how guys are doing, but sometimes the stats don't tell the story and tell how much of an impact the guy has. And Ndamukong Suh abuses Stone on this play, gets in the backfield to blow it up. Stone has no choice other than to grab him, and he holds him. Flag comes out. It's a holding penalty. It stops the clock on 3rd down for the Lions, which was huge, because they were going to be able to run off 40 seconds there. They're going to run another play, run off another 40, and then Lions probably get the football back with less than 40 seconds in this game. Instead, you stop the clock with about 1 minute and 49 seconds left in this game, and all of a sudden now, the Falcons try to throw a pass, which it was a safe pass. Julio Jones he must catch this football. You cannot drop this. If you're going to throw this, it must be completed. It is not completed. And so by virtue of that incompletion now, I mean, it's 1 minute and 46 seconds left. The Lions have the pick of the litter to do whatever they want, even though they don't have any timeouts, and they got to drive probably 60, 70 yards to get in a comfortable field goal range. It does not matter. Time is not an issue any longer because of the Falcons' inability to execute down the stretch. That's what bad football teams do. That's what bad football teams do. You want to look at why a team is 2-6 on the season, you just look at situations like that and you see it. Hey, that's what bad football teams do down the stretch. So instead of them eating up the clock and giving the Lions back the football with as minimal time as possible, now the Falcons have given the football back to the Lions with all options available. Over in the middle of the field is open. If you want to check it down, you can. Whatever you want to do, even though you don't have any timeouts, it's all available to you. So the Lions fair catch the football at the 11. First play, and this is, again, bad Falcons defense. It's all verticals. Nothing special here. Just bad zone coverage. Golden Tate exploits it up the middle of the field, up the seam, on the slot. Catches a beautiful pass for about a good 35 yards or so right there to start this drive off. So from the shadow of their own goal line to essentially midfield, boom, in one play. And they get down there. Then they get a nice completion to Fuller, who has been playing some outstanding football since the injury to Calvin Johnson. They found another weapon there with Corey Fuller, the young guy out of Virginia Tech. He catches the football, gets another first down, they spike it, then they get another catch. And Theo Riddick, what a grab! One-handed grab by Theo Riddick. I thought he had a strong game in this game as well. One-handed grab over the middle of the field. It was a bad throw. I thought Matthew Stafford played a pretty bad football game. He made some throws when he had to, but he made some poor decisions, poor throws in this game. But this was another bad throw, but it was cleaned up by Theo Riddick. What a grab to get up the field. That was a huge play because that play put them in field goal range there. Then they tack on another grab And that really kind of clinched it as far as field goal range is concerned, because now they were inside the 40-yard line and more closer to the 30 than anything else. So now you're really talking about, 48, 49-yard field goal. They end up getting some more yardage on a holding penalty by Paul Soliai. So now you're saying it goes from a 43-yarder to now a 40, or it goes from a 48 to a 43-yarder. And now the Falcons take, or excuse me, the Lions take a knee, and they're ready to kick this field goal with 4 seconds left on the clock. They send out Matt Prater. We know about the struggles of the Lions field goal kicking game, so my heart's beating out of my chest. I'm here rooting for the Lions as if I'm a Lions fan, because I got a lot on the line here. I picked the Lions as my sole survivor pick, so, of course, I want my pick to ring true. So I'm here, edge of my seat. I'm like, come on, Matt Prater. This is why they brought you in, baby. Right here. Get it done. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now, get it done, man. Get it done. And they get out there, and somehow the Lions botch the time process, and they get a delayed game, and he misses the kick. Oh, my goodness. What a break for the Lions. So they back up 5 yards. It's now a 48-yard field goal instead of a 43, which he previously just missed. And you could tell that you knew, as fate would have it, the Falcons were going to lose the game now, because they put a pan shot of head coach Mike Smith on the sideline, bent down, picking up the grass, and you can see he was looking like he was sick to his stomach. Like, you could tell he knew he was about to lose this game. And, of course, they snapped the ball, hold is good, everything. Because the first hold was bad. I think that's why he pushed it. That hold was not a clean hold. And so the second one, snap good, hold good, kick is up, and it's down Front Street as the Detroit Lions escape London with a come-from-behind 22-21 victory. The second consecutive week, the Lions have been down big in a ball game and have rallied back to win. This time, they were down 21 in the second half, and they rally all the way back to defeat the downtrodden Atlanta Falcons, who have now dropped 5 consecutive games. That was a heartbreaker. I mean, if you're a Falcon, you feel for the Falcons. I don't, because I picked the Lions, but you got to feel for the Falcons, because they played as well as they could play in that first half, and they did the direct opposite in the second half. They held on. The defense actually didn't play that bad in this game. They did everything that they could, and they just didn't have enough to get it done. And as fate would have it, the Lions actually missed the kick, get a do-over, and nail it from 5 yards further back. It's just, that's the type of season it's been for the Detroit Lions. Last year, they would have lost against New Orleans. Last year, they would have lost this game. And you would have been saying to yourself, this is the same old Lions at 4-4 instead of 6-2. Same old Lions. Nothing has changed. They're about to go into free fall mode. They're about to go into the tank. Trust and believe, the Falcons are a team that I thought they showed up. They played well. And just like they had talked about all game long, that division is so bad that at 2-5, they had a shot. If they would have won this game and got to 3-5, they would have been right there. But trust and believe, the Lions last year would not have won this game. With all the guys that they've been missing, would not have won this game last year. So kudos to the Lions for getting it done, man. Big win in London. They go to the bye week, and they need this bye week. They're so banged up, it's not even funny. They'll be all healthy, all ready to go come week number 10 in the National Football League. So huge win for the Lions. Debilitating loss for the Falcons, but again, this isn't a good football team, and they gave it everything they had, and it just wasn't enough. And that's the type of season it's been for the Falcons. And when it's going bad, and these are the type of things that happen to bad football teams. You can't catch a break. When you're 2-6, you don't get breaks. You have to make your breaks. And the Falcons in that second half, they were looking for a break to fall their way instead of making a break and winning this football game. And so the end result is 22-21. Falcons fall to the Lions. Huge win for the Lions. They get it done. And I'm right again on my sole survivor pick. Booyah! Way to start off week number 8 in the National Football League. And that's going to do it for Falcons, Lions. Free football, man. I love it. Give me more. I want more. So, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in week number 8, come here in the Lab Room, and I'll break them all down one by one. I'll see you later on. Continue to watch the football and enjoy. I'll see you later.